Tyler, Laura, first off, happy Easter to everyone celebrating this weekend. Now, if you've been following the Ithaca baseball team, you know they've lost 3 in a row heading into the weekend. So they weren't searching for eggs. They were searching for a win. The Bombers played RIT in a doubleheader on Saturday, and it turned out to be a split. Game 1 did not go the Bombers' way, losing 12-5. As for Game 2, it looked to be the same result until the bottom of the 7th inning when someone, maybe even the Easter Bunny, woke the Ithaca offense up. The Bombers tallied 8 runs in the inning, collecting 7 hits. Garrett Bell got his first win on the mound this season as the Bombers move back over the 500 mark on the year. They play next at St. Lawrence on this Wednesday. Before I move on, let me ask you a question. What do you think when you think of the Ithaca women's lacrosse team? Undefeated? Well, you'd be correct. The women were back in action for 2 games against ranked William Smith, and even though it's a holiday weekend, they did not let up. Check out this goal right outside the 8-meter. Megan Mikowski, the nasty fake, going ground for the goal, finding the back of the net. Ithaca would go on to win 13-7. You see the celebration afterwards. The Herons, however, they looked for revenge the very next day, and it came down to the final quarter. Ithaca led 8-7 with under 3 minutes to play until Alexa Ritchie got the dagger. Bombers held on. An important stat in this one, senior goalie Mackenzie Shade had a season-high 11 saves in the win. The weather's getting warmer as the spring continues, but what if I told you we had some Ithaca basketball this week? No, this is not a late April Fool's joke. The Ithaca women's basketball team held a scrimmage against St. John Fisher on Friday night to honor their 4 seniors. It stayed close throughout the first 3 quarters, but anyone who's watched this program knows, come crunch time, they turn it on. A 17-0 run in the final stanza pushed the Bombers to the win, highlighted by this play. Right off the rebound in transition, it's sophomore Natalie Smith threading the needle to junior Lindsay Abertelli for the layup. Ithaca would go on to win it 64-50. Something else to note, 3 of the 4 seniors for the Bombers will be returning to use their extra year of eligibility. As we head into my 4th story, usually I have to start talking pretty fast because we might be short on time. Well, this fits in perfectly. Ithaca women's track and field, ranked number 8 in the nation, traveled for a meet at Rochester on Saturday. When it comes to Parley Hannon, it seems like there's a new record every week. Hannon posted a school record in the 1,500-meter race with a time of 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Not only is that a school record, it's the fastest time in Division III this year. The women won the event by 16 points. Don't blink if you watch the women's track team, but the same can be said if you watch Gonzaga and UCLA last night. Jalen Suggs' buzzer beater made everyone and their grandmother fall out of their seats, and now we can say the Leitner shot, the Jenkins shot, and even the Suggs shot. Let's take a look.
Gonzaga has time to do something. Suggs for the win. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Unbelievable! Unbelievable!
Clearly heartbreak for UCLA head coach Mick Cronin. Gonzaga advances to the title game to face the Baylor Bears in one of the most anticipated title games ever on Monday night, and the first time since the 2001 preseason, number 1 and number 2 are matching in the title game. I know I'll be watching. Tyler, Laura? The Ithaca men's lacrosse team knows that it can compete with anyone. They just needed the opportunity. Welcome into sports. I'm Dane Richardson. Fresh off a 3-game COVID-19 pause, Ithaca men's lacrosse was back on the field for their first Liberty League game against Clarkson. Let's take a look at the highlights. You'd expect there to be some rust. Well, never heard of it. Connor Brumfield starts off the scoring. The Bombers were on the run from there. Second quarter, it's Jake Erickson feeding Blake Eischen in front of the net. They gave the Bombers a 7-2 lead. They would head into halftime, leading by 4. Second half, however, different story. Clarkson battles back to within 1. Alex Sharon, all of a sudden, it's 11-10, and the Bombers got fancy for the final goal. Razzle dazzle. It's Connor Brumfield behind the back off the feed from Jake Erickson. Ithaca goes on to win 12-11. Something important to know, junior goalie for Ithaca, Connor Thornton, had a career-high 22 saves. Here's what he had to say after the win.
Come back at half, man. Like, they're a scrappy team. We knew when we were playing them that they were going to be right up in our stuff. So I just kind of tried to just keep carrying the momentum through from the first half that I'd built up and just like staying calm and not getting rattled after any sort of runs. It's just like ebbs and flows, man. It's a roller coaster. So just got to try to stay flat and not ride the roller coaster.
The team will have their biggest test yet this Wednesday when they travel to face number 1 ranked RIT. The Bombers held off Clarkson's late game push, and speaking of late game heroics, Insert the Ithaca baseball team. The 5-5 Bombers traveled to Poughkeepsie, New York to face Vassar in a doubleheader this weekend. Down 6-0 heading into the final inning, the 7th inning. Ithaca scored, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 11 runs to take the lead. They would go on to win Game 1 11-9. As for Game 2, not nearly as stressful. The Bombers pounded out 17 hits as a team, highlighted by shortstop Jack Lynch's 3 hits and 4 RBIs. Ithaca would sweep the doubleheader and win it 17-1. 17. That's how many road wins the Los Angeles Lakers were looking for Saturday night when they headed to Brooklyn to face the Nets. No LeBron, no Anthony Davis, but the Lakers more than held their own. Early on in the second quarter, it's Kyrie Irving looking like he's at the circus with the layup. Then again, Irving from 3. Lakers headed into the break, up by 3. Second half, though, all Lakers. Markieff Morris with the throwdown. Then Ben McLemore saying the city of Brooklyn can't hold us, if you know what I mean. 17 second half points, including 5 3-pointers, as the Lakers got the surprise win on the road. Tyler, Laura, listen. An important win for this Lakers team, especially over a potent Nets squad without LeBron James and Anthony Davis, leaving the NBA playoff result a total mystery. Maybe I'll have to leave my friend Scooby-Doo up to it. After all, he's pretty good at that. Guys? 28-31, less than 2 minutes in, just about a minute and a half into the second half. Ball goes out toward the left side. Halleck picks it up just like the first draw control of this half. Plenty of speed, moving against Michaela Mills. Moves in right side, ducks under a defender. Shot goes off the top of the bar, and it's picked up by RIT the other way. Man, such a missed opportunity, and the clear looks like it will be successful for the Tigers. Long pass, Africa can't handle it. Chasing it down far left side, Mahorter looks for the ground ball, and she can't corral it. It'll go out of bounds, stays with the Tigers.
Almost another failed clear by the Tigers. They are struggling. And as you talk about Halleck, that was a great job driving herself. Just a little unfortunate that she hit the crossbar.
See some of her teammates a little frustrated, bending their heads back. Oh, that was a close one indeed. RIT again with the patience. They got a goal from Joint last time. To the top of the point comes Steph Durrell, moves over to her right. Little rub-off screen from Joint, and the shot goes wide right. Out of bounds, it will be Ithaca ball as... Yes, it will be the Bombers' possession, as it looks like Jillian Hansen was a little bit closer to the ball. Bombers have been very successful so far on clears as Grant moves short side left, gets past midfield. Just under 27:30 left to go, and looks like it'll be a foul against RIT. Or no, they move it into the middle. Matkowski, her first touch here in the second half, as Ithaca will slow it down. Alex Rabb will go behind the net for Budarera. Moves left, 65 seconds left on the shot clock. Bombers lead 13-7. Back to the point, Indira Varma, her first touch of the second half, moves right against the defender, uses those long strides, finds a cutter, unable to corral it is Budarera, and picked up by the Tigers the other way. That's Allison Shapiro, and she lost it, but was hit by Alex Rabb. That's going to be a foul, so RIT will move it the other way.
Foul actually there called against Indira Varma. As you mentioned, she's tall. She's 5'10" from Menlo Park, California. Came to Ithaca, a little different from California, but she's been a good player throughout her time at Ithaca.
Indeed, and one of the many seniors on this team. A quick pass into the middle. West, a shot goes low. Still loose in front. Was blocked away by Howley. Burley goes to chase it. It's out of bounds. And again, the Bombers, with a player just a little bit closer toward the ball, they'll have possession. Howley with it in the crease. Risky pass out toward midfield. Ball's loose, short side left. Tipped up in the air by West. Now Matkowski, right place, right time. She picks it up and flips it along. Jillian Hansen, the junior defender, in with it. Goes far side right as Varma will corral it off the bounce. Beats Africa, moves through, tries to get through a couple of defenders. Little scoop pass, and then a foul is called. And Ithaca will start with it. Ritchie back toward the top. Ritchie's been a little quiet since the middle of the first half, but probably looking to pick it back up here. Behind the net, Alex Rabb goes to Budarera, moving left. 50 seconds left over on the shot clock. Sydney Phillips, the freshman, back to the top. Goes Matkowski over to left side of the circle, Halleck. Halleck goes back behind Rabb, right back to Halleck. Oh, had Pendleton turn around, turned it, and how about Templeton with a great recovery there, especially against Halleck's speed. Ritchie moves left, tries to split a couple of defenders. Thought about flipping it to Halleck. Under 30 left to go in the shot clock. Matkowski now one-on-one, moves right, fakes right, then moves left. She'll move back out, and a great defensive possession here from the Tigers so far. Ritchie tries a couple of the fakes. In the middle, Phillips couldn't corral it. Bodies on the ground, and we'll see what the call is here, and I think it It's going to be a free position for the Bombers. It's the second time Phillips has tried to catch one toward the center of the 8-meter, and she's going to get a free position.
And just looking on the field, it looks like Matkowski is still kind of holding her mouth. She got hit by a stick. I'm not sure if she's bleeding or what's going on, but she doesn't look like she's too ready after the hit.
And a going ground for the goal. That's Sydney Phillips, the freshman, her first collegiate goal to double the lead for the Bombers. It's now a 14-7 lead. Again, she's had a few opportunities today, been cutting toward the center. Matkowski, Ritchie, they've been trying to find her and finally capitalizing. That's got to be a good feeling, getting on the board your first collegiate goal.
First collegiate goal, a free position goal. Can't ask for anything better. Earlier in the game, as you mentioned, she was robbed basically by Gutermote when she was driving in front of the net, and Gutermote was just able to get her stick up and make the save. But this time, the bouncer just bounced right over the stick of Gutermote and into the top corner. Nothing the goalie could do there for the Tigers.
And a great sign for the Bombers. You have a lot of seniors on this team, but the freshman from South Salem, New York, netting her first goal, and the Bombers lead 14-7, 25:02 left to go in the second half. Again, Grant and West, who's saying those two names a lot on the draw control here. RIT looking to strike back, and you really just got to inch away at this. It's tough to score an array of goals on Ithaca very fast. Well, Ithaca, they can score on you very quickly again. Good job by Grant directing the draw to Halleck. Halleck again tries to score quick off the draw. Drives left, looks to beat a defender, but Templeton cuts her off, and she defers to Buderera behind the net. Buderera moves back around toward the point as Varmer will sweep in. Grant toward the top of the circle. Has Halleck on her left. She'll give it to her. Swings it across. This is Rab, and she'll flip it behind the net to Buderera. Again, RIT trying to move in. Buderera slips past the defender. In front, shot goes just wide left. Rab's there to scoop up the ground ball. Tried to beat her defender inside. Was very close to the crease. Is Ithaca still with another opportunity under 60 to go on the shot clock. Ritchie fakes left, moves right. Good defense right there from the Tigers. As she'll move it back out, Matkowski quickly over to Grant. Grant swings it across to Halleck. Halleck, a quick stutter step, moves right. Good help defense there in the middle. They've walled off penetration quite nicely so far, has RIT. Over to Ritchie. She tries to move left. Has Varma behind the net. She'll give it to her. 35 seconds left on the shot clock. Varma short side left. Looks closely. She's guarded by Shapiro. Instead moves back out to Grant, and Ithaca will reset. Here's Matkowski. Tries some one-on-one game. A few moves in the middle. Catch by Buderera. Moving across. Right side shot saved by Gutermont. And it's bounced away right into the stick of a Tiger as RIT will move it back the other way.
Once again, Gutermont just robbing the Bombers and doing a really good job of getting her stick up.
And a loose ball here, and it's poked away. Halleck poked it away. Ritchie maybe with a transition opportunity. She's got Rab on her left, but instead will move it back out as Ithaca will reset. They've had a little bit of trouble, but up by 7, you have time to work on your offense. About 7 minutes here into the first half, 23:15 left to go. Ithaca leads 14-7. Alex swings it across behind the net. Rab, Buderera, plenty of patience. Under 65 left to go on the shot clock. Over far right side, this is Matkowski, moves left. Walled off, flips it along for Halleck. Halleck moves right, tries to get in the circle, gets the step, speed, shoots, scores! Jackie Halleck looks like it's going to be goal number 5 on the game as the offensive onslaught continues from the first team All-Liberty League player. It's now 15-7 Ithaca.
Baseball is back in New York. Well, for at least one team. Welcome into your WICB Sports Update. I'm Dane Richardson. The MLB opened its season yesterday, and it only seemed fitting with last year's shortened season that the Yankees give fans some extra baseball. The Yankees opened up against the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday afternoon in the Bronx, and both starting pitchers, Hyunjin Ryu and Garrett Cole, were dealing, combining for 13 strikeouts. The bullpens carried on the pitchers' duel into extra innings when Randall Grichuk untied the score with an RBI double to give the Blue Jays a 1-run lead. Toronto would take care of business in the bottom half, securing a season-opening win over the Yankees. The New York Mets were looking to have a different result, but they didn't have the chance to do so. New York's season opener against the Nationals was postponed due to multiple positive COVID-19 results in Washington's organization. The good news, Mets manager Luis Rojas said he was, quote, pretty confident the Mets would open up on Saturday. We know yesterday was opening day in Major League Baseball, but it was also April Fool's Day. What if I told you the Buffalo Sabres won 2 games in a row? That's an April Fool's joke, folks. The Sabres, fresh off snapping their 18-game losing streak against the Flyers, puts the Rangers into overtime on Thursday evening. Dustin Tokarski tallied 44 saves, but it was not enough as Mika Zibanejad netted the game winner to give the Rangers a 3-2 win. Sticking on the ice, the New York Islanders have plenty of talent, but if you had to pick one superstar, it's Matthew Barzal. The forward tallied 3 goals and 2 assists in a dominating 8-4 victory over the Capitals last night. The East Division is now in a 3-way tie at the top between the Capitals, Islanders, and the Penguins. You know who else continues to dominate opponents? The Ithaca women's lacrosse team. The number 10 ranked women have another tough test this afternoon against number 14 ranked William Smith. Senior Jackie Halleck, fresh off an IWCLA Player of the Week honor, looks to lead the undefeated women to their 3rd ranked win of the season. You can catch the game on VIC Radio with coverage starting at 3:50. Make sure you keep tuning into WICB Sports Talk every Sunday at 6:30 and for all your music, news, and sports. With your WICB Sports Update, I'm Dane Richardson.
November 16th, 2019. MetLife Stadium was preparing to house 45,000 fans. However, those fans weren't coming to see the Jets or the Giants. They were there to play their part in the biggest Division III matchup of all time between the Ithaca Bombers and the Cortland Red Dragons in the 61st Cortica Jug. This historic rivalry dates all the way back to the 1930s when the two teams met for the first time. The stakes were raised in 1959 when their yearly matchup was recognized across the country as an annual showdown. Now it's considered the biggest little game in the nation. But before the two teams could duel it out on the football field for the right to hoist the jug, there was still an entire season to play.